this is me, Ruowen Huang. Before I begin, let me first introduce myself. My name is Ruowen Huang. I'm an author of spirit coaching, also a psychic. In this particular episode, let's talk about emotional dimension. Hopefully, this is the last dimension let's have to talk about. But before I get into the topic, let me clarify one more time. I'm not a scientist, so all the scientific terms that I use in my broadcast may not be accurate, but that's just simply from my psychic point of view, hoping to offer you a different perspective of life or thing. So let's get into the topic about emotional dimension. I have talked about how we can really apply dimension into all area, all aspect. So once you are able to do that or apply dimension into all area, then you will be able to evaluate what dimension you are and how you can work toward it. So emotional dimension, since this is not something solid that we are able to visibly see, same as time and space, how do we define emotional dimension? As by now, I have shared many things with you. You must get a very clear idea. Dimension is basically the extension of the previous dimension. As people naturally learn one dimension, it will naturally evolve into the next. It's not something that you force upon, but it's something you will naturally evolve to. So if you understand that, you will understand the whole dimension evolution is basically start from something very simple and it become a little bit complicated and multiply it. So same thing as emotion. If we're gonna use emotion as an example, today you understand the dimension applying on the emotion, it will start with something like this. It will start with, the first D would be your anger. I'm angry. And then that's all you have. You cannot really associate it with any other emotion, but that is an emotion itself. So same thing as a new soul, many of you wondering if the soul are new on this planet. You will understand that because their emotion will be very simple. In their mind, there's no complication of emotion, it's simply this. So this is usually how the first sign you can indicate if someone is new to this planet or to the earth, you call. So once, let's say the first dimension is anger. Now the second dimension is no longer just anger. It's usually angry and sadness, or, happiness and angry. It would be a very clear two different things. Right? As people get into the third dimension, it's basically people no longer understand this emotion and this emotion are two different entities, but they will understand the connection of it. So for example, we often say anger is trying to hide the sorrow. And then now people will try to understand how the sorrow become an anger. So I'm going to give you another example that will help you understand. But now I'm just going to quickly explain how the dimension works. So as you get into the fourth dimension, you will start to understand, why would I have sorrow? How does that create it? When does it create it? And then you want to understand the really meaning behind the anger. So I would say for right now, from 1D to 4D, the first dimension to the fourth dimension, you will see it's very passive. So basically things happen to us and then we start to understand why do we have that, right? As we start getting to 5D, just like every other dimension, 5D, you go from a very passive behavior to very aggressive behavior. So now you no longer just simply receive an emotion. You want to understanding the meaning behind the emotion. And when you understand the meaning behind the emotion, you want to be able to do something about it. So this is the time like people want to understand, how can I alter, heal, or change that emotion so I will no longer feel sad, or I will no longer feel angry or sorrow, etc. As you go into 4D, you no longer are happy with present. You want to be able to change your future as well. So you want to be able to go to a certain point of your life, alter your emotion, not only healing now, but also healing your future. So you will start to figure out, how can I move in between time and heal certain emotion? So this emotion that I'm experiencing right now that is not pleasant will no longer happen in my future. So that when you get into the 7D, which is 7th dimension, you no longer want to just heal, or you no longer want to just create, but you want to understand, why am I experiencing all those whole process of emotion? Like, what really am I trying to achieve here? So when I'm talking about emotion, it's very important to understand the dimension, is because as many of you are interested in this magical era, which hopefully we can touch base in the future. You have to know your emotion through and through, because it's a key element to make everything happen. So when I talk about emotion, you guys would be like, I am a little bit confused. Yes, I understand. Can you give me some example? Sure. This is something that you will often hear from two couple arguing. One is like, I am angry. I am so angry, and then there's nothing more to it. You know, I don't need to explain what it is. I simply know I'm upset right now. That's it, right? People are not interested to understand what caused it or etc. Then the 2nd dimension, you will start to figure out, why am I upset? Why are you so upset? With guy and girl, you always say, why are you so upset? Right? So then you will start getting to, people say, well, I'm upset because you didn't do that. You know, I'm upset you didn't do it. And why talking about that, they start to understand, well, you were just happier earlier. How come you're upset right now? They're only able to identify two emotions, but could not really connect the thing together. As people get into 3D, they start to giving a reason. Well, I was sad at the beginning because you didn't do the dishes and you didn't do that, and I tell you to do that, but you didn't do that, and that's how my sadness then now become angry. I was sad, but now I'm just pissed off. You know what I mean? So people start to see clearly how the emotions shift or change from one to the other and understand the whole process of it. But then when we get into 4D, it's really when people start to be aware of their birth family problem. Like, but why would you be sad? I didn't do anything. I would just simply say that. And then why are you so sad about it? Like, guy will always see like, well, I don't really understand. Why are you so sad? Why 3D is when the people start getting into that feeling like, well, you are saying this, but maybe what you really mean is this, because they start try to connect to emotion together. When you enter into 4D, you start trying to figure out what caused the initial problem. So it's no longer from A to B, it's something beyond that. So you will very often hear from the couple argument. I make it sound like arguing a lot, but anyway, start to understand the cause that caused that initial sorrow. Such mean the guy would say, well, I didn't mean that. Why would you think that? And then the girl might say, well, you know, because my mom used to say that to me, or my dad used to do that to me. This is actually a behavior when people start talking about what caused the initial sadness. Then when you get into the 5D, you're no longer actively waiting for things to happen to make a change. You start trying to figure out, why do I have that problem? And then how can I comfort my inner child? You understand your birth family create your inner child, and how can you comfort inner child so you can feel in peace right now. And as you get into 6D, the 6th dimension, then you start to figure it out. Okay, I don't want to go to the past. I don't want to just heal now. I want to be able to heal my past. Then I comfort now, but also to create a future I have. At this point, your sense of time is no longer limited to the past. Sometimes people will want to go to the future and try to create an image that they can use as a model and then help themselves out of this whole mess as well. And then your emotion at this time will become more stabilized. You will still be upset, you will still be happy, but then you will be able to regulate yourself. And when you are getting to 7th dimension, when it comes to emotional dimension, you will actually try to understand what it is I am trying to learn through all those emotions, like up till now or throughout my life. What is it I'm really trying to learn? And many people will start trying to figure out like, oh, I think I come to this life to learn how to love someone. I come to this life, try to feel my own value. I come to this life. You will look beyond emotion and actually look at a bigger picture of why all those emotions are generated. So anyway, I hope that make it more clear for you guys and give you guys a little bit understanding of how you can actually apply dimension to everything else. So basically what I'm trying to say is, your emotion or your feeling is way more complex than what it shows, right? So as one start evolving to the higher emotional dimension, they are no longer controlled by their emotion, but can understand how emotion flow and impact one another and make a full use of it. So usually by the time you are 6th dimension or 7th dimension, you're no longer thinking about, I'm upset, I need to take care of it. You're thinking about how my emotional reaction can actually impact myself, but also people around me. So anyway, hope that make it clear. If not, I just have to keep talking. Again, if you like what I'm doing, you can always follow, share, and like. I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.